All right, welcome to the show, Endzone Freaks of the Week 6 podcast show.
Thank you, Dave. Great to be back. Back-to-back weeks. Well, I guess when you're a superstar, you just get invited back, right?
That is true. When you score the most points for the week in Trash Mouth Fantasy Football, you're guaranteed to be on the podcast, and that's what it takes. You want to be on this show, you got to score. Right, Doug?
That's right. Well, I intend to be on a lot then. You'll be hearing from me a lot the rest of the year.
All right, Endzone Freaks, the question of the day is, and I gotta ask the question, was the Red Rifle the steal trade of the year? It might be the steal trade of the last 5 years.
Well, it's starting to look that way. I mean, at the time, I certainly thought it was fair. I mean, I gave up a roster move. In fact, the Comac Crush, when I told him about the trade, he said, "You didn't give up a roster move, did you?" I said, "Yes, I did. You got to give up something to get something." At the time, the Crush thought maybe I should have just tried to trade Castle for Dalton straight up. Of course, Flip was not going to go for that, so I had to sweeten the pot. But it looks like I really got the better end of the deal now because the Red Rifle is hot. It's piping red hot rifle. I got it.
All right, G-Man guaranteed on Thursday Night Football that he was going to score 30 points from Wallace, from Roethlisberger, and it looks like that didn't happen.
I scored 30 points, and that's about it. From his whole team. We saw what happened. You can't predict matchups in this league. We could look at matchups all day. Matter of fact, I got a text message from Duvall today telling me about Week 8. He's got the Saints going against Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's going to line them up. He's got Green Bay against some weak defensive team. Look, you have to play who's in front of you. And you never know what's going to happen the week before. You don't know what the team's been on the road a couple weeks in a row. There's a lot of factors that go into how well the team's going to play. You just can't predict the NFL. Sure, you can hope. That's it. A lot of hoping, but no production.
Well, we're listening to the Autumn Wind is a Raider, right? Endzone Freaks?
That's right. The Raiders stepped it up as I predicted in my Mr. Roadshell podcast. The Raiders had a week off. They were ready, prepared, and they handled Matt Ryan and the Falcons last week. It was a great show. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but thank you, Raiders.
All right, Endzone Freaks, you scored 81 points. Your division opponent scored 80. I know you look on the back. You're looking over your back of the shoulder. You know what you're coming up against in a couple of weeks, but you gotta like your performance. You had a balanced attack, and it could be looking like another Doug Duvall playoff pairing.
Yeah, it's looking that way. I mean, Duvall and I are separating ourselves from these other two bums. I mean, I have, as you can see, I have a balanced attack. I had 5 touchdowns from my quarterbacks. Every one of my running backs scored, including the one on the bench, C.J. Spiller. All my receivers scored. Just top to bottom, I'm stacked like pancakes, as Duvall would say. Duvall, unfortunately, I mean, he's got a really good team, but look at it. He scored 68 points from 3 players, and one of them was his kicker. I mean, he had 54 points from his quarterbacks. Then what? I mean, he's got nothing in between his all-star kicker, who he loves to talk about, Tynes, baby, and he used a roster move fan, by the way. And, obviously he's got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league. They're bound to have a bad week or 2 sooner or later. We know about Peyton Manning. We know this guy cools off every now and then and chokes it up. And Aaron Rodgers will definitely have a mediocre day here and there. I'm just hoping it's week 8, but he's going to make the playoffs, and so am I. It's looking that way. 24 points from Donald, 30 points from 35 from Matt. These guys are done. They might as well just start doing their Christmas shopping early.
All right. This part of the segment of the Trash Mouth Podcast Show, week number 6 recap. True or false? Trash Mouth, true or false? All right, Doug. True or false? Endzone Freaks division title.
True. With a balanced attack, I squeeze it out, probably win on a tiebreaker against Tmffl. I intend to beat him week 8. Take that 2-0 division, tiebreaker lead. And it'll be close, but I intend to win, as I usually do, this division.
All right, keep it short. One-word answers, true or false. G-Men misses the playoffs.
True.
Psychos misses the playoffs.
True.
Comac Crush is the only GM that will have one roster move before everybody else has 0.
False.
Okay. Will Doug stop his emotional eating if he's leading by 20 next week?
False. False.
Does Doug get a subscription to XM Radio and eat one less ice cream cone starting in 2 weeks?
True for part A, false for part B. I love ice cream.
Okay, thanks Endzone Freaks for joining us on the Trash Mouth Week 6 podcast show. You got 30 seconds, parting shots.
All right, well, all you bums are on notice. Watch me. 81 points this week. I scored 63 last week. You just don't want to face me right now. Nobody does. I will whoop you. I will take you to task. You have nothing on me. All you guys, and you guys are lucky in the East Division, except for Dave and Sal. You're still going to have to face me on the schedule. But the rest of you guys in the West, you know what time it is. You know who the taskmaster is in this division, and I'm back, baby.